And we're live.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm all better now that I vented a little bit.
It always helps. Ah,
Yes, thank you. So, I know that we're a little bit behind, but what I like to do is to kind of clear our space and the energy by ringing the meditation symbol, and then we can get started.
that sounds great. So, Leo full moon this week.
Yes, tell me about it because you were mentioning earlier that you have all kinds of planets uh, in
Yes,
your.
in my natal chart, I have 5 planets in Leo. My sun is in Leo. And this week has been a very empowering week. So, Leo is all about leadership and the heart. Leos, lead and follow their heart. Um, Generally, it's an energy of the entertainment, the theater and clowns and um, creativity, children. So, Leos can be very childlike, they can be bratty, they can be, the actress, the actor. Um, it can be a very dramatic kind of energy. And um, so, and all of my Leo is in the 10th house, the house of profession. So, a
Mhm.
Leo full moon for heavy Leo energy um, could possibly mean advancement in your profession, advancement in creative efforts. Um, Everybody, does their chart differently and it's different like a fingerprint. But for instance, if you have a Leo child, this would be like a blossoming of some creative part of them you might not have known, or maybe a breakthrough. With autism in children, they've done a lot of studies with art and music. So a Leo full moon amplifies that body of music and the arts and power and leadership, and it's a fire fixed energy. So it gets things done, being fixed. It's about being opinionated. Um, Kind of the joke with Leo is um, they are opinionated. I'd like to think that, um, we don't volunteer our opinion unless we're asked. I know there's plenty of Leos that are much more bodacious than that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the rest of my chart is all like Cancer and Scorpio. So I have a lot of water offsetting a lot of that fire. So I'm probably not as brazen anymore. I think as a child I was very, very, dramatic and a clown and creative. And as I've aged, I've gotten much more subdued. But I have noticed this week with the Leo full moon making all those aspects to Sun, Mercury, Uranus, North Node, um, that I have asserted my power in my workplace. Like if I was feeling downtrodden or not appreciated, something shifted with this energy for me to take that on as a challenge. Leos love to be challenged. They get bored easily if they're not challenged. To prove that I do indeed, you know, have value and bring assets, and no one, regardless of their hierarchy in society, is going to accomplish making anyone feel less than.
Mm.
So Leo is about leadership primarily and leading from the heart. It rules the heart. Leo is considered very generous, often to a fault. There's been plenty of times when I have given money only to overdraw my own checking account if it meant helping someone. Today, you know, I drove a couple hours out of town to got off from work early, drove to help someone with their car, you know, um, the whole time sort of holding my breath as to whether or not my car was going to make it. That kind of, you know,
Oh.
um, I don't know. Leos in Western astrology are often accused of being vain and obsessed with mirrors, like their appearance, and always sort of, primping or very vain.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
when I was studying astrology in the Greek islands a very long time ago, the European astrologers have very different interpretations of a lot of these energies. And the thing about Leo that really suits me better is the thing about Leo in the mirror is Leos are very insecure. Inwardly, we're very insecure about if our behavior is okay. And the mirror is to check to see if, our behavior is acceptable, like, to others. So it really is just the opposite of vanity. And it's kind of a paradox because on the outside they can appear very confident and, brazen and bodacious and dynamic and dramatic. And on the inside, they're really very scared little children hoping to be accepted. That's the
Mm.
truth of it all. So, like Aquarius, which is its polar opposite, somewhat misunderstood kind of energy. And I think that could be said for any zodiac sign, as we all have our parts of us that people misunderstand. And that's where judgments come in, right? So it is the keywords of I will, very hard headed, very fixed. Don't challenge a Leo. Don't double dare them because they will prove you, that they will take that dare and they'll do their damnedest to prove a point.
Mhm,
No,
mhm.
yeah, especially when I was younger and trying to take my knocks and hits getting through relationships and career stuff. I can catch myself remembering always wanting to fight for something based on principle. And a lot of times that is futile. You can have your principle, but um, might not always work out the way you think. That's where I think you believe in karma. What goes around comes around. So if you lose a fight based on principle, you just write it off to, well, karmically, that'll take care of itself in another place and
Mhm.
time. So in the natural zodiac wheel, it's the fifth house. So the fifth house is where we read children, speculation like gambling, romantic affairs. So in a chart, you know, when you're reading about a relationship, if there's a lot of fifth house activity, it's considered more of a short term affair as opposed to seventh house being long term partnerships and marriages, or the 11th house being more of true love. So we have the sun and Mercury within a couple of degrees of each other, uh, opposing this Leo moon, and a Sun Mercury conjunction in Aquarius is a lot of confusion. It's a lot of aviation issues. If you've noticed all the plane crashes and
Well, you know
aeros,
what I think?
what?
Okay, so did you know in Greensboro, North Carolina, that they are building a supersonic airplane?
Yes, I have heard
So, like, I think that they're just trying to just naturally, get rid of some old inventory and make way for the new. I mean, like, I'm just, I mean, that's what I think,
that.
but
Well,
you know,
this is just a fascinating time to be alive with all this Aquarius, because Aquarius is, space and quantum physics and unconventional things. And I saw an article where, like, some of Einstein's old notes were found
mhm,
about his theory on quantum physics and reverse quantum physics. So all of that to me speaks to the aerospace program, rockets, spaceships, um, uh, you know, fuel being, like water and uh, what was it? Willie Nelson had that whole project where they had refined gas for vehicles out of corn, so none of this is new. Like, we've
mhm,
had these innovations for decades. Some might even say centuries, maybe even thousands of years. If you believe that the pyramids were built by spaceships, then none of this is new. It's
mhm,
just, it's been hidden, and it's been veiled in secrecy. So when you're looking at 2025 with all of the outer planets changing signs and some very historic shifts, I think that's what the interpretation is the veils of mystery are falling. There'll be more transparency as to, um, well, if you look at the current events, the declassification of old FBI files, who really killed John F. Kennedy, you know,
do you have
what,
any background on that, or you just saw the top?
pardon?
Do you have any intel on that? Because I just saw just like a headline, but I didn't get a chance to read up on it or get any information on that.
Well, there was a really interesting documentary of an old interview with Stanley Kubrick. And, he was a filmmaker, I believe, in the 60s. And, you know, his interview was about how he filmed the fake moon landing. Like, we
Oh,
know he
I
never
see.
made it to the moon. And he had some insight about the Kennedy assassination, and, that it was all from within, you know, within the ranks. There were people against him and what he was trying to do, and took him out. And then part of the declassification was like a body double was actually who was shot.
Mm,
And there's conspiracy theories that say he's, alive at 104 years old still. So, you know, who knows till it just comes out. But I think that all of the possibilities really open our mind to, you know, have critical thinking. These are times when, question everything you hear, and don't
mhm,
believe anything you hear on the television. The television in and of itself has been a psyop of, darker forces to brainwash people to believe certain things.
mhm,
And
mhm,
I saw this film, how they were showing how TV and broadcasts can be manipulated. And so it was like, you know, say you're the news anchor and you're at the studio and you're talking to your coworker out in the field who's standing in front of a building where something's happened, giving you
mhm,
the narrative, reporting, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
so I guess I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the camera never cut off, and this, I call him grip, whoever, like a studio helper with the lighting and mechanics of filming, comes along, picks up this green screen of a woman talking, and carries it off. So what you were looking at was basically CGI, an automation of something that was what it wasn't. She wasn't really there, she wasn't really even a person. It was a film of somebody talking, and they just picked it up and they carried it away. And it was really,
Wow.
interesting. So, as you're watching all of this shifting, you know, in our current events and our world, really look closely at. So, for instance, I know a few times it was caught with Biden where he was in front of a green screen and not really where he was because like a hand and a mic would not line up.
Hmm.
It, you could tell it was manipulated.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I think these are really interesting times for that kind of mystery to be unveiled and for us to open our eyes about things that have not been how they appear. And you know, you asked me something before we went on, and I guess I'll say it here, that although people may feel some inconvenience or discomfort by all of these federal agencies being shut down or audited for fraud, it may be a little painful for a little while, but when we get to the other side of it, it is going to mean, great service and abundance for us. So, um, I personally am cheering on, find the billions of dollars that have been stolen and not accounted for, because those are my hard earned tax dollars that I get out of bed every day to schluck off to a job I'm not crazy about, to pay into the system. And I certainly don't want the reproductive systems of the fruit fly examined with my tax dollars. We want better infrastructure, we want safe water, we want safe food. And I think there's a lot of scare tactics that have been circulating online. I have a friend that's just really freaking out. She's really very against everything going on. And she sent me this text about don't buy chicken, don't buy eggs. The federal funds have been cut for the FDA to be able to, notify people properly for recalls and everything. And I call that fear porn. I think that, if you use your common sense, um, and even since that got circulated, I've heard, recall on broccoli because of E. coli, and there was something else. So they are still doing those kinds of inspections. I think the
Mhm.
point is to get rid of the fraud, and who wouldn't want to get rid of the fraud? So we have, Jupiter and Gemini right now, and that's a really cagey energy. I mean, that's really fickle and cagey and kind of all over the place. And how people respond to it is very, you know, I think of road rage and, a telephone conversation. We've had a lot of snow and ice here this week, so I've worked at home. And I was on the phone with my boss for a couple of times. And this is a perfect example. You have a telephone conversation with someone, and they start in one direction, then they change direction, change another direction. And by the end of the conversation, they've been all over the map and haven't really said anything. And that's
Mhm.
kind of that Jupiter and Gemini kind of energy, and the Sun conjunct Mercury in Aquarius. It's very confusing. What might be in our mind does not come out of our mouth the way we need it to or expect it to. And so those receiving information are kind of left confused and wondering what, So, you know, what my focus is under a Leo full moon is the heart. Because if your heart is engaged, you can't go wrong.
Mhm.
It's really when you self doubt your intuition and you don't follow your heart that you find yourself, going around in a merry-go-round or a similar pattern, or, you know, you're spinning your wheels and not getting anywhere, because Leo is about courage and being brave, and so your heart might tell you something and you're like, oh no, I can't do that. Oh no, just can't do that. Well, here's a perfect example in romantic relationships, or you've met somebody and they spark an interest in you. So your heart is like, well, let me ask him to coffee. This is just like a for instance. I'm sure there's much better examples, but this is what's coming to my head.
Mhm.
And your head is going, oh no, I don't want to be rejected. Oh no, I can't do that. And but you follow your heart and you present to whoever, you want to go to a concert, you want to go to coffee, whatever. And it could go either way. It could be, yeah, I'd love to do that. Or it could be, no, I'm seeing somebody. So the point is that if you had not put yourself out there, you would have never known. You would have always, that has motivated me more than anything in my life, is not wanting to get to the end of my life wondering, what if I had said that? What if
Mhm.
I had done that? And so, Leo is about being creative and getting out there to express yourself and not being afraid of how it might be received. And that
Mhm.
would be on the romantic front or domestically or professionally, but just, this kind of energy sort of gives you the extra oomph to try something out of your box. That's what Aquarius is all about,
Mhm.
unconventional. Um, a friend of mine's going through something really terrible with a daughter, really terrible. And um, basically, her daughter is in the thralls of a mental breakdown and losing everything she's worked for.
Mhm.
She's 48, I think. And my friend, the mother, is just, I can't get my head around this. I just don't even know how to process this. That's very much like this energy, things just happening that you just can't process. And I feel like when you feel that way, being still and nurturing your own heart and what your heart tells you need to do is the answer, and is the therapy for navigating very cagey, unpredictable energy. And
Mhm.
um, all this stuff with aviation and you know um, the earthquakes and the mudslides, that is um, the sun in Aquarius making a square to Uranus. And this is Uranus and Taurus. This could be very volatile financial markets. Uh, there is there's a lot of information out there that is under debate about, you know, what is going to happen to the economy if we are bankrupt, and this has happened in history. Then there's a revaluation of currency. Other countries have even changed their currency. So I think that we're going to see some very big changes in the market, some very big changes in interest rates, and um, it's not sustainable, the path that we're on in this country with the financial situation the way it is. So weeding out the billions of dollars of fraud ultimately brings costs down for people to live more reasonably. Um, so with the um, Sun square of Uranus, I think that's where we've seen attention on events in the sky and aviation, and the Earth is shifting, and the earthquakes, mudslides, fires, floods, erratic weather patterns. In my blog, what came to me was, Mother Nature is trying to reassert who's boss, and Mother Nature is the alpha. And we're going to be taught that, whether we go easily or get drugged behind, to learn that. And so if you trace back history to a lot of the configurations that we're seeing for the first time in our life, it traces back to big changes in mankind and humanity. And it is directly related to people's sense of liberty and freedom, and, wanting to be free to make their choices and free to live life unencumbered by big government and heavy taxation. And,
Mm.
you know, countries have gone to war because of that oppression. So I think on a global level, there is a lot of the volatile nature of Mars retrograde in Cancer. Mars does not like being in Cancer. This is a really long transit for Mars. And I think one of the interesting things that's happened is the release of some hostages under
Yeah,
the.
I saw that like in Russia.
Mhm. And also in the Middle East. So Mars has been retrograde for a while, and it's slowing up now. It will be direct on Sunday the 23rd. So we're on the 14th, about another week. Mars will station to go direct. And so might be prepared to see another big shift on that front uh, as it goes direct. And so um, I think a big focus with a lot of these combinations is to make sure that you're feeling um, your connection to nature and not getting too um, tactile in what you're seeing on the surface level, what's
Mm.
fed to you through the media, or um, even in local communities. Um, the pockets of violence that can pop up. We all just want to stay calm. You know, stay like connected to nature is the only way I know how to put it. And if you're feeling upset or angry or scared, as corny as it sounds, just walk barefoot on the earth, hug a tree, talk to a tree, go near a body of water. Um, it really, when things get so overwhelming and there's so much information coming at you at once, and you don't know how to process it logically and certainly quickly, that's when we have to be reminded of the simple things, to be grateful for the days of sunshine, to be grateful for the days that we get some rain. And, this ice and cold and winter mix crap is miserable, but it's also nice to stay inside with a cup of hot tea, and stay in your sweatshirt for the day, or
Mm.
whatever that creature comfort is. you know there's good in every adversity, and it's just up to us to glean that and find that. And I think that's what these combinations of energies represent. We also have another shift coming up in a few days where the sun is moving into Pisces. So, going from Aquarius to Pisces is quite a shift because um, Pisces gets us more connected to our instincts and our intuition. And that I think will make it easier to discern what is real. What are we seeing and what should we believe? Um, there's such an interesting times compared to past um, generations with the digital highway. There's so many platforms cranking out information simultaneously. It's it begoggles the mind. So I think another way to feel more calm is to take breaks from the digital world. Take breaks from your smartphone, take breaks from looking at screens, the blue light and the computer screens. They've done these studies about how all of that constant exposure to your eyes and your brain, can make you feel tired and can make you feel less energetic. So, you know,
Or you
maybe,
could use these.
yes, use your blue light lenses. Do you think they work?
Yeah, they do, but my vision is better without the thing because it's actually blocking some of my clarity,
Yeah,
because, I'm an artist and I use my eyes to do the things that I can see, like, right here,
right.
um, but if it gets a little too much, then I'll put these on, and usually, I'm, like, working or not doing too much of a creative thing. It's more of a task,
Right.
thing, and then, yeah, so it works. So, but yeah, I keep these when I'm just, like, looking at the screen a lot.
Too long.
Yeah,
So I think
because
it's important to step away, even
mhm,
for 15 minutes to give our brains and our aura a chance to reset, because, you know, the, the, the electrical currency that comes from the electronics is not in itself nature, right? When we're outside under the rays of the sun or the moon or a thunderstorm or lightning, you know, that's natural electricity.
mhm,
But, we've domesticated our homes and devices. And I think that there is a place for them, but we also need to be conscious of their physical effect to us and, you know, how that might create fatigue. And if you feel fatigue, your immune system cannot be at its best. So you may, you know, get the sniffles or um, have some kind of virus run through you or whatever. And it's all about the immune system feeling rested, giving your body a chance to heal itself. And uh, we have let's see, I believe in, yeah, so on the 27th, the new moon is in Pisces. So we're coming into more Piscean kind of energy. We still have Neptune in Pisces until the end of March. So that is very romantic, fuzzy, fantastical kind of energy. Um, I love to see the way these kind of clash because, when you've got a squared Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is very, very earthbound and practical. And, it doesn't go in for the fantasies and the fog, and it likes things to be clear. And then you have Jupiter and Gemini just being cagey as all get out. So it's
This sounds like, like a, how you have MPD, like people with multiple personality disorders,
yeah,
one minute it's
oh
like,
yeah.
you're in a certain funk and then now you're like, oh la da da, and it's like what the fuck is going
Well, and I think as sad as it is, the shifts that we're getting through, that began 3 or 4 years ago, are truly taxing on the mental health.
on?
And the mental health support of our society is lacking, right? There's way more
Did you
need for
see that
mental
the
health.
CDC was being kind of shut down?
Well, I'm talking about even before, I mean, for years, there hasn't been enough services as there is need.
Hmm.
And it falls on communities and family to try and help their loved ones who might go through a mental break.
Mhm.
And I've seen more of that kind of thing in this last couple of years than I've ever seen. And I think that COVID started it. I think that was the trigger. You isolated people, they had to sit with their own minds and thoughts. They may have taken on addictive behavior. And then you all of a sudden expect them to go back to the routines and the lives they had before. And everybody is going to process that differently. And it'll never
Mhm.
be the same, right? So I just know I've had a lot of different family friends dealing with someone in their family with some sort of mental health issue, whether it's an adult who uh, this I this was triggered by you talking about that multiple personality disorder, the bipolar disorder or manic depressive disorders. People can go along and hide those kinds of behaviors and be high functioning for a long time.
Mhm.
And then one trigger, I know for this one friend of mine, her daughter, the trigger was a guy. She fell in love with this guy. He was a player, and everybody in the community knew he was a player and was never going to settle down with anybody. And she convinced herself she was in love. They were in love. They were going to get married. And he ghosted her and is on to his next girlfriend. And she has had a complete mental breakdown. It's almost like that Cloris Leachman in Fatal Attraction. I mean, that
Mm.
kind of really toxic obsession.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so this kind of energy has brought that to a head. And she's sitting in jail. She's not in a mental health facility getting help. She's sitting in a jail from, you know, various charges of reckless driving, endangering others, and looting police. And this is a girl that's never had any trouble in her life. She's a lawyer. She's the one that goes to court to get other people off from those kinds of charges.
Mm, mm,
And
mm, mhm.
you look at that and you think, how can a grown adult professional have a complete mental break like that? And the
Well,
lady,
I think that's different because like love and logic are two different things, right?
love and obsession.
Yeah.
Well,
You,
so
you know what I mean?
the girl that I went out of town to help today, um, so her car got towed yesterday. She lives way out in the country, and
Mm.
her neighbor that usually helps her was out of town. And so there is an adult male living on their property. I mean, we all knew him like years ago. He worked construction. You know, we did estate sale work, and he'd always be the one with the pickup truck to help haul things.
Mhm.
Worked, kept a home, seemingly nice guy. And so when these people moved out to the country, they don't do as much estate sale work. They lost touch with him. He was dating some woman, and they lost touch for years, 5 years.
Mm.
And a couple of years ago, he called one of them sobbing and begging for help. And they don't know what happened to him. He'd been living in his truck. He had no money, no work, and had some kind of mental breakdown. And to this
Mm.
day, he is, I don't know if unfunctional is a word or not, but they're trying to get him disability. He can't hardly complete a sentence.
What?
Yeah, he he just stares off into space. It's a really weird thing. And what my friend, she bought me a late lunch, early supper today for helping her out. And we were sitting there, and she was telling me about, because he has a truck. He could have feasibly given this lady the ride she needed. She had medicine in her car that was at the garage that she needed to get to. She's
Mm.
diabetic, and but he won't do anything like that for anybody. But yet, this family gives him a room, gives him money for gas, pays for his cell phone, and she was telling me, like, he gets food stamps. He'll go and get a few groceries, and he'll write his name on his package of lunch meat or whatever in the refrigerator so that they don't touch his, and he's in their home. If it weren't for them, he wouldn't have a roof over his head. And so she said to me that she thought that he was like, bipolar, because he can be charming in 1 minute and then just, horrible the next minute. So,
Mm.
I've never been a big proponent of labels of things, but certainly our society has developed labels for mental conditions.
Mhm.
They are real. We've all
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
people.
that seems like a real thing because if he was like seemingly participating and being helpful and things like that,
Right,
but like what happened? What was the trigger with him 5 years of
right.
him like being MIA? Something like did
It,
something to
they'd
him.
have no idea. They wonder sometimes if maybe he got beat up real bad, but he's
Mhm.
been, through a health exam and everything. There's nothing physically wrong with him.
Well, he's not disclosing something. There is something that happened and
There is.
he's not saying anything about it. And so but it's
It's
really
really
up to him
strange. But I
if he
guess
wants to, but yeah.
my
But
point to like a bigger um, issue of like the combinations of energy is, your viewers might notice in their communities or families or surroundings more of this, people having a hard time processing these shifts.
hmm,
And
hmm,
so, what the whole thing about discernment between illusion and reality, that is a age old theological debate as to what is reality, right?
mhm, because I
And
really feel like it's up to the individual
yeah,
and their perception because, like, your perception and their perception are totally different, but, that guy, he may feel that he's right in his
oh,
bubble, you
he
know?
does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
He,
like,
he feels completely okay with letting his old friends pay his way. And he's not a young man, he's oh gosh, I know he's in his 40s.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting to me if you watch trends in society and astrology, how the signs do the energy. So we've had a lot of heavy Aquarius energy. That's very quirky. You know,
Mhm.
that's people revolting and, having some sort of revolution, um, spiritual awakening, wanting the truth. The truth is all that matters. And I guess what I was leading into this with is as the sun goes into Pisces, where we already have um, Neptune and the North Node and Saturn still there, that is really a test of what is real because Piscean energy has you look through everything through rose colored lenses. And sometimes that is the seduction of the universe wanting you to journey something that you would otherwise put the brakes on, opening the heart. So I think if you took charts of people who went into romantic relationships um, that ended badly, like some veil came down and people were not who you thought they were, you would see in their chart like a Venus Neptune opposition. That's classic for being seduced into a very passionate love situation and feeling it through and through. And then as that opposition separates and the rose colored lenses come off, and you see this person like totally different. So, as we come into these next few weeks of a lot of Pisces energy, it'll be interesting to see how people process that sort of fantastical point of view. The benefit of Piscean energy is it's the psychic faculty, right? It is your third eye all seeing and knowing, if you just trust what your intuition is telling you. We get in trouble when we start second guessing it, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
doubting our own intuition. So, where are we? So, we're coming into the end of February. So, we're still got a ways for the spring equinox. And we'll have a short little eclipse season in March. So, I think we're still, experiencing a lot of, um, the Aquarius, um, Mars retrograde. That's not great, not great. There's been a lot of natural disaster. There's been a lot of shifting and changing people are having to make. Hi, Alicia. Happy
Mhm.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's.
So I was trying to remember the mythology of Sir Saint Valentine, and I'm not going to get it exactly right, but since it is Valentine's Day, I guess we should mention it, right?
Oh
So
God.
Saint
So now we're
Valentine.
flip-flopping from like rose-colored glasses to
So yeah, I mean it's really morbid. The mythology that we celebrate today is really pretty morbid. So
mhm.
this is a saint. He was, it was Roman times. He was secretly marrying Christian couples, and that went against the emperor. And he was jailed, and the uh, warden or jailer's daughter was blind and would come to visit Saint Valentine, and he was a natural healer as well, and healed the jailer's daughter of her blindness. but he was still executed anyway for his what was considered betrayals of the king. Um, and the day of his execution, he dropped a note to the daughter, and that was considered the first Valentine.
Oh, okay.
So there's death and there's violence and there's, healing. So that's the theme of Valentine's Day.
Mhm, mhm.
You're betraying some morbid authority because Christians want to get married, and you're a healer of a little girl's blindness and you get hung anyway.
I think, it's really interesting, like European, um,
Yes,
life,
yes.
back then. When I was in Holland, I visited a castle, and the garden that was attached to the castle, the heads were cut off. And I'm like, "Well, why?" So, it was just kind of weird. Now, I don't really remember the reasons why they cut off the heads. It's kinda like, "Well, off with your head," and that sort of a thing. But I think it was because, like, there was a portrait in the castle. It was like 2 babies. One was kind of pale and pasty, and one was, like, full of color. So, I think that it
Oh, your sound just went off.
Hello, can you hear me?
There you are.
Oh, okay. So it's just kind of interesting, to see, like, the culture or the beliefs that they had back then, like, even the bed. So they believed that if you slept down that you would die. So, like, in the middle of the freaking bed, there's a rope that you would just hold on to so that you wouldn't, like, lay your head down, because the idea was that if you laid your head down that you would die, because all the blood would go to your brain or something like that. Oh,
They had some
so
strange things.
yeah, yeah. So I think that, like, the mind is a very powerful thing,
Yeah,
because if you really believe it, then it becomes true.
right,
Because the people at the time, they believe that, like, if you do lay down, you'll die, and maybe medicine was not as, advanced at the time, and that was just a thing that, that happens.
right,
Um, and I think that happens, like, throughout all lifetimes, right? Like, whatever that we believe or perceive is the truth.
right.
And so, like, if we can navigate, like, what that truth is, and I feel that it kind of goes back to what you were talking about. Like, if there's just so much that's going on in your head, and you can't make from shit from Sherlock,
Right,
right? So I feel like the best thing, and this is what Buddhists do, is called mindfulness meditation, or just, the act of being mindful. And you can just, like, set your intentions, figure out, like, what it is that you want to release and let go or invite into your life, or whatever the thing is, and then just sit in the present moment. And what is going on with your life right now, as, like, you're breathing, as you're seeing something, smelling something, just really taking it really slow.
right,
And so, like, and nothing else should matter outside of yourself, like, nothing. It just matters, like, your present, your life. Nothing else really matters. What matters is, like, the thing that is going on right now, not the past, not the future, but now. And
and
so
I
if you
would
can,
add to that that you have everything you need inside.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that, this is like the prelude to the Pisces energy that we're getting to, because, like, with this Leo energy, it gets us pumped up. We're filled with confidence. When we
Dramatic.
were feeling, yeah, like, if you're feeling insecure, now you got
Yeah.
everything behind you. You got this. And then with that, I feel like, with the mindfulness and things, that prepares
Oh, you stuck.
will come to you, that wouldn't make sense, that you can make sense, based off of intuition. And
Yes.
so I think we lost Sunny, or is it me?
You
Hi.
froze for a minute. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
you did too.
Okay.
So you blacked out.
Oh, okay. You
So I
didn't
think it
black
was.
out, but the screen just kind of froze.
Oh,
It
okay.
might be I've noticed a lot of hiccups in the internet this week too.
Yeah, me too. Like I want to complain because they're jacking up.
Right.
Let me tell you this. My internet over here, they charge you by usage. Have
Oh,
you heard that? Does your internet provider charge you by how much internet you use?
it's
Come,
unlimited. I pay a flat fee for unlimited bandwidth.
this is the only place that I know where they charge you by use. And not only that, by how much speed that you get. But you know what?
That's
Like the connection here is intermittent. It's not like a complete solid service.
right.
So it's like, oh, how do I defend myself? I got to keep doing like screenshots and stuff to
Right.
prove that, hey, this service sucks. Sorry, I'm on my soapbox.
So, do hotspots or these portable Wi-Fi gizmos help that at all?
No. What I could benefit from is like an extender.
And a booster or
Yeah,
something?
like a booster just to kind of give me an extra thing. I have it actually here on my wall, but from my understanding that I need to purchase something that goes into the box because we have fiber optic
Yeah.
here. And so it requires like that additional thing which doesn't come with this place. So I have to purchase it, and then like the Ethernet cable that is in the walls will actually work.
Right.
So if I were to do that, then yeah, sure. But it's either that or getting an extender.
It's like
And
going back to the rotary dial-up, right?
exactly. I was talking to a lady about the energy bill. So my energy bill here is outrageous, and they give you options to pay. They're
Right.
like, well, you can go on this one plan. You just don't use it, the energy between like 3 and 7, or 4 and 7. And I'm like, okay, well, I can do that because I was on a different tier where I can just use the energy as I please, but they're going to charge you like, that and then some. And I was like, and then they had another plan. I was like, hold up. I said, I've never,
Are you there? Are you there?
yeah, I'm here. Like
Okay.
maybe I'm talking too much, but
No, it just freezes for a minute and I can't hear you, but then you come back
okay.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. It's either internet use, it's energy, whatever this like energy thing is, it's not working. So I
I
don't know
know
what it's
here,
like.
one of my neighbors basically they average what her annual usage is, and she pays a flat fee monthly. I
Yeah.
pay whatever it is, and it just fluctuates through the year, whether I'm running heat or air conditioning. And then
Mhm.
there's parts of the year where it's very low because I'm not needing heat or air.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
um,
They don't do that here. They go by use. And I think like how much, like, I don't know. Yeah, everything's by use here.
interesting.
And they'll give you options. So they'll say, well, if you don't use the energy, at a certain time, then we'll give you like credits and stuff. I was like, what the
Could
fuck
you
is that
get
all
your
about?
own, like, you know how preppers get these? I bought one. It's a solar panel,
Mm-hmm.
and you get a little battery pack.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if I lost power, this solar panel would energize this battery pack, and I could plug things into it.
Yeah,
So,
but that's like your cell phone and stuff. You need a jumbo solar panel that goes on your head.
right,
Yeah, so I think that if you are a homeowner and you have the ability to install like a solar energy thing, they will probably give you like a write off or something, or they'll reduce your electricity bill if you were to have one of them things installed. But I'm not, I'm in an apartment right now, so
Yeah,
it's not like I have that option. So, but I complained about it. And so, yeah, I'm not happy with the energy or the internet here. It's like,
that's a lot.
it is a lot because I've never been in a place where they just charge you for usage. That's just like old times to
Right.
me, like, the cell phone bill. Then
Well,
on the
and you
cell phone
can't get away
companies,
with not using it, right? You need it.
exactly. You need it, but like this is the only place that I know that charges like that. Everywhere else it's like a flat fee.
Right.
You either use it and then they charge you for your use and that's it. But here it's like I don't know, they give you options on your, but I think it's because in the summer, it's extremely hot, and you have no choice but to put the AC on.
Yeah.
And I think that because of that, like they're trying to compensate for like usage, I'm assuming. And if that's the case, then how come the state doesn't ask the government for some kind of relief because of the environment that we're in? I don't know, just a guess, like, I don't know, because that's the biggest issue, and I think that's the reason why they charge you like that. And I know a lot of
Interesting.
people can't afford that, because the lady told me on the phone, she's like, "Yeah, like, technically, we can't shut off your electricity because that would be inhumane, but to kinda offset the cost, we tried to give people options." I was like, "Options my ass, like, the
Right.
electricity bill's high enough as is, like, like, what options are you giving?" But anyways,
Well,
so
let's pull
yeah,
some cards.
okay,
So,
sounds good.
in honor of Leo, we're going with these gilded decks because Leo loves bling and
And I have the Gilded Reverie Lenormand to match.
nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So let's see here. Let's start off with
So
Aries.
we're fired up here with Leo. Leo moon.
Well, I tell you what, I do have a lot of energy, but like I am a little under the weather myself. So
Well, you just
luckily it's
haven't been
not.
getting enough sleep.
Yeah, that's true. Hmm. I
So we
have
got the
two.
full moon on Wednesday. So tonight the moon has gone into Virgo. So I misspoke. Oh, you got two.
Yeah, but Virgo works with me, so that's probably pretty typical.
I got the world.
And I have a child and a whip.
Wow. Aries.
Yeah.
You're whipping things into shape, it sounds like.
So basically, so I see here two jacks, which is we have here a spade and a club, so that's like wand and a sword.
And this
They're
lady
just
has her sword.
yeah, it's like this quick energy of like this childlike wonder, okay? And the whip, from what I can remember, um well obviously it's like, like being an authority.
And we have Venus in Aries right now. So that could be Aries with more attention on their love and money
Also,
subjects.
I feel like it could be on children too.
Yeah. The world is completion. Certainly, maybe some sort of completed project or goal.
Mhm. And also the child is also about creativity, maybe having thoughts about completing a project, getting things into action. Maybe Aries, you're thinking about traveling for this creative project. Okay, or it could be also traveling, to uh, be with your children or with your children. Okay, or towards your child, or something like that, or someone younger than you. Doesn't have to be a child, it could be a younger person. I'm also feeling like there's a bit of dominance here. Um, it's almost like a like an adult child relationship.
The wheel is, or the world is also um, birth. The egg shape can represent the birth, maybe
Mm-hmm.
a rebirth of something.
Yeah, or I feel like a renewal of something
She's
also.
got she's got a very strong posture. It's like
Mm-hmm.
getting it done.
Yeah, and I see here the whip, you could be cracking the whip,
Yeah,
when it comes to this creative pursuit.
that's an interesting combination.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Wow. Aries, that's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I'm feeling like they're getting things done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you had something that you want to complete, you will complete it. Next, I have here Taurus, and I have here the birds.
And I have the Ace of Pentacles. And we currently
Okay.
have Uranus in Taurus too.
So the birds is about community. It's like social gatherings. Maybe this is about like talking to someone. It could be networking. This could be with family, about maybe planting a seed to have like a new beginning here. Seven of Pentacles. This is something that you've been planning for some time. Maybe this is the initiation to get something going or a long time coming. I see also like there's a thing here that you could be starting. It's a decision that you need to make, but it has something to do with other people.
There is a mammal on this card. It kind of looks like a badger at the bottom.
Hmm.
And the aces are generally some sort of divine intervention or divine gift of money or opportunity,
Mhm. Mhm.
maybe an investment payoff.
I definitely feel like there's other people here involved, whatever that coin is, right? The Bitcoin.
Yeah,
But do you see that? It looks like you have a sun in the middle of that
yes.
pentagon in our symbol. So something is being illuminated for Taurus. So just be mindful of the people that you're talking to, and just know that it looks like it's going to be positive, whatever this thing is.
Good
It's really
advice.
interesting. Yeah. All right. Next, we have Gemini.
And Jupiter is in Gemini. That's kind of a lot of changes, a lot of opportunities available. Maybe feeling a little overwhelmed. This is the Knight of Wands.
Okay, I have two cards that popped up. I have here the moon and the polar bear. So,
Hmm.
yeah, we have the moon here, and look, there's a cycle. This is the 8 of Cups, so this is about maybe within this cycle, you're looking for or in search of something more to for your wish fulfillment. The polar bear is like a mother figure. The bear is also a protector. So letting go of the burden of something I feel of your past, something that you've been struggling with. But also looking, to see what is the end goal, Um, well, the Knight of Wands, I really feel that's going to give you the energy to make you focus on what you should be doing for the next cycle.
I really like the colors in this card. It
Mm.
feels
Yeah,
very
it looks like
creative to me.
because Gemini could be in their head. about a thing, but I feel like they're giving the energy to just move forward with the Knight of Wands
This is
energy.
kind of, I would think, is sort of the root chakra,
Mhm.
the creative energy. And
Yeah, something very passionate also. Tired of like, being like this mother figure. I keep going back to this polar bear, because it seems like it's been a burden, but now, I feel like you're given the strength to just move forward. Or maybe that's the endurance, the strength to move forward through some kind of thing that the whatever the goal is that you have for the next moon phase.
I still see it as very positive.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's positive. I think it could be a revelation for Gemini to, to give them the extra push to move forward
Yeah,
for whatever that they want to do or
some
work on.
fire energy with that air
Mhm.
propelled forward.
I think it's good. So next we have Cancer.
So this Mars retrograde still in Cancer is exhausting.
And oh, look, I have here a lady with a flower. Is it
Oh,
exhausting when it comes to what you're thinking about here? This is Valentine's.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, Maybe it's exhausting to think about it, whatever the thing is. Um,
She
it's like the
has a
man.
very pleasant expression, though, like she's remembering something fondly.
Hmm. The 2 and a 9 is 11. It could be a twin flame connection. It could be like a start of, something new to get together. But with the Four of Swords energy, I mean, I feel like it could be a person of the past. Maybe Cancer is thinking about this person. You know,
Dreaming,
I, yeah, I feel like, Cancer could be having dreams about this person,
I
thinking
had the
about this.
strangest dreams last night with people that I know who they were, but in this plane of time, they're not social or friends. It was the weirdest dream because it was people that I know who they were, and we were in this like conference and social hall place and just yucking it up like we were old buddies. And I remember waking up saying, "Wow, I don't really know them, but we were like good buds in the dream world."
I would write that down.
It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, just because that dream might come back, a little bit further, and then like, oh, okay, that was like the um inside
Premonition.
look of the future event
It's an
that you
attorney that works where I work, but we our work doesn't um, connect. She's in a different department.
well, you never know.
Isn't that funny?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, we have Leo, and I have
Mhm.
Ten of Swords.
10 of Swords. Oh my God,
Yeah.
I have the ring.
Oh.
uh, let's see here. So we have Ace of looks like clubs. So it's Ace of Wands. Feeling very passionate about. And the ring could also be a commitment. It doesn't have to be an engagement of some sort, but uh, so maybe feeling um, like defeated about some kind of a commitment. Um, but I see that with this ring, it's very positive energy. Maybe that's like being more committed to yourself than the thing that has been hurting you in the past, is what I'm seeing. There's a deer on your side. Is it looking at the guy on the ground?
Yeah, well, deer is about gentleness.
Hmm.
Maybe this
But
is a reminder to be gentle with yourself, Leo.
because the swords are really not in your back; they're just hovering right there. So,
Exhaustion.
mm-hmm. Well, the change, like making this change, I feel like it's kind of like a spiritual uh beginning for, and I feel like this is more of a commitment to self, instead of like feeling kind of down.
Yeah,
So I think it's good. I feel like, there's like nuggets of wisdom in each of these Lenormand
I
cards.
was thinking we're using the word exhaustion a lot, like it's been an exhaustive full moon.
Well, I think it's going to be like that until the next couple of months, right?
Yeah, I do too. So with
Okay.
Virgo, I got the Knight of Swords.
And I have the snake and the magnifying glass. Snake obviously could be a karmic person. This is the year of the snake, so it could have some positive context, but I feel like it's look closely at who your friends and enemies are, right? Um, there's a Queen of Wands, so maybe specifically a fire sign, um, female energy. There's something spiritual though about this
There
snake.
is. Look how blue
Mhm.
everything is.
Mhm. So
And like there's the sword pointing towards the light, and then there's like an orb of light sword, like maybe
so
connected to
perhaps this
spirit.
is like Virgo communicating the truth to this um entity, like as you can see clearly like where this person's coming from, so you could be speaking your truth.
Definitely a theme of truth for Virgo.
Mhm. Yeah, because you see all the apples there. The apple tree. That's really interesting.
Might be moving. Let's see. I think up in the tree here is an owl.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what kind of bird it is, right?
I think it is an owl. Doesn't You can't see it very good on the screen, but
Mhm. Yeah. So
so
like it's
wisdom.
like the wisdom, right?
Yeah, the truth and wisdom is the Virgo theme I'm getting.
Mhm. Yeah,
Wisdom of the truth.
something that maybe wasn't true. So really like look into that and do some meditation on what that it means for you, Virgo. I think you get clarity on that for this moon cycle. So next we have Libra. Look at this. We have tulips.
I have Three of Cups.
Oh well, okay, Libra. So you could be getting like some flowers today.
That's some good
L-
feeling stuff here for Libra, isn't it?
yeah, Libra might be going out to a nice dinner with their friends or their loved one. So that's good. You could get like an apology or a confession of love. That's actually really good. So like getting together, um, feeling loved, you know.
Dancing. They're dancing and drinking. This is very social for Libra, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good day for or time for Libra. I see here the nine, so you could be feeling like a sense of completion.
And the
Uh,
water pouring, I think, is
a
emotion.
love, yeah, the feelings. The feelings are real, Libra. I
And
think
you've
it's
got
really beautiful.
roses and something else in that bouquet.
Well, to me, it looks like tulips, but it's
And
baby's
the
breath.
purple flower looks like, like looks like lavender or something.
Mm. Did you lose an earring?
Well, I lost the back to it anyway. It's here
Oh no.
somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Dropping off
Okay,
pieces of myself, pieces and parts.
it's fine. That's the least of our worries, you know.
Right.
All right. For Scorpio, I have the child.
Scorpio, I got two. I got the Wheel of Fortune and the Ten of Cups.
Oh, nice. So, I mean, the child card is about creativity. It's like birthing something new. It's also having like a childlike innocence. So there could be a new beginning here in working with someone for a sense of stability. And that the castle could mean a few things. It could mean about the home, but also could mean about like a government institution. Um,
This is definitely the element of time and patterns, the Wheel of Fortune.
mhm. Like
And you,
happiness, karma, and like
I get
creativity.
buying real estate in your hometown, like going back to where there was a family. Or,
You know, I was just talking about that. Recently, my boyfriend's uncle just died, and I was telling him about my grandmother. My grandmother is in North Carolina, and nobody's there, and the rest of the family is all scattered all over the place. And we were thinking that we would be forever in North Carolina, and here we are.
spread
She's
around.
she's there by herself, my poor grandma. So we were thinking, like, would it be like morbid to dig her up and like, you know, like
Yes.
my mom picked out the nice casket for her, and we were thinking we were all going to be on the same plot of land. But what if everybody dies from the family and there's no living successor? And then wouldn't it be better if we were all in urns? I don't know. Like,
This is
it
very more Scorpio. We're talking about death. That's so Scorpion. And just leave grandma alone. She's not there anyway.
leave her alone. Don't dig her back up.
Absolutely not. Not unless you need a forensic autopsy or something.
But okay.
That's so funny. We're talking about that under Scorpio.
I don't know. I
That
need
is so
sometimes I need
funny.
to shut my
Scorpios are
mouth.
fascinated with death.
I know. It was just a passing thought. Okay. Anyway.
As we were talking Scorpio. Yeah, grandma's in the ethers. She doesn't want her body dug up.
Okay. Well, like
You can go visit her every once in a while.
so that's the thing. I forgot and I need to ask my mama. Like, why don't you buy a plot of land? Like, is it yours forever? Like, do you keep paying on it? Do you pay?
Are you talking about a cemetery plot?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you buy it for a fixed amount. You can
Mhm.
sell it, you can gift it. So it's not a
Oh.
forever thing. I mean, you can keep it or you can. A lot of people will them to other people.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
Like in really old days, he, the parents would buy plots for everybody in the family, but then as the family would grow and, like you said, move around, somebody might not want that plot there, so they can give it to someone else or bequest it in their will or
Well, we were thinking about getting a plot, but having a tree, and then we'll all be on urns or in urns, and we can all just fit in one little plot of, yeah, under a tree. I
that's
don't know. I don't know why we're talking, but yes, I do. It's because like the uncle just died, and we were
right.
talking about because in Holland, um, they will bury you for a set period of years, and then they'll dig you back up because there's not enough space there.
So what do they
And
do with you after they dig you up?
well, they cremate you, but then you can have the option to just go ahead and get cremated and
That's
not be.
really morbid.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I guess it's typical for them because like, what do you do with the bodies? But there's no space.
But
So,
don't
like,
they just rot? I mean, don't they just become dust?
well,
No,
yeah. So we were talking about that. It's like, well, the uncle never really made plans, and Dutch people are very cheap in that sense, and he just didn't really care. He's like, well, once you're dead, you're dead. You know.
right, right. It's true.
Yeah. So that they have a very different outlook on death, which I find was very
Right.
interesting. And here, my grandmother had a very elaborate ceremony with
Yeah.
a hearse and people like all from all over,
Procession.
yeah, like that, and like he didn't have an open casket. It was just the casket with him, and then they put like sentimental things, and then they just cremate I don't know, it's just weird. Anyway, moving on.
Well, and then if you go back, like the Egyptians, like packed all these things in their tomb for them to have with their afterlife.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
no, that's what happened. So like they put like things that really meant something to him, and he was into birds, he was a carpenter, and they had licorice candy. I was talking about that earlier, like the Dutch licorice. And so they put all of his favorite things or things that he did on top of the casket. But I think that after the whole ceremony, they just, it's just
Pack
for
it
and for
up.
remembrance, and
Yeah.
we're giving respect, and then
And here,
yeah,
when we build these elaborate tombstones and mausoleums, I mean, you couldn't really get rid of that.
well, not now
But
because
I
they.
had a friend that worked at a what do you call it, funeral home, and she worked with people to sell them their cemetery plots and stuff. And she told me that we would be mortified if we realized how packed in, like there's an inch between
Yeah,
plots
that's what
and they're
they.
on
Well,
top of each other, like
yes.
different depths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that's the thing in Holland. They thought that it was weird to because when you get buried, you don't just get buried with your family, you get buried with a stranger, and it's like one on top of another.
yeah.
And then,
We
yeah, and
do
that
that
was,
here. We just don't
yeah.
talk about it. That's how they do that. They do that here.
You mean body bags?
Yeah. I mean,
uh, uh,
gosh, there's
anyway.
definitely a deception in the mortuary business.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a money maker there, because once you're out, and you know, but they charge for everything now.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Mhm. Anyway, so I
So
have this for Sag.
I got 7 of Cups.
Oh, okay. So again, the this is like a meeting of the birds, right? So this is like could be gossip, it could be like a coming together, communication. You have Seven of Cups, I have Seven of Pentacles. So, could be choices about some long term thing with people that you've known for a long time. Maybe you're coming to a point of talking with those people about future plans.
Like their cemetery plot.
It's that time. We need to talk about this, because
Yeah. Update
better
your
late than never.
estate planning paperwork.
Yeah. Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sagittarius has a lot of choices here, it looks like.
Mhm.
So, Sag is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter and Gemini. That's, again, that very, a lot going on. And Sag is already pretty, fiery energy and very hyper.
So there's like a lot that's going on
Yeah,
with them. So
I think so.
it's okay. Just take a deep breath and do the
So the new
meditation.
moon, I mean, the full moon in Leo would have been making a trine to Sag, which is fortuitous. So Sag,
So whatever they did decide, then it might be a good thing, right?
yeah, I think the chances are it's more good than not.
Mhm. Well, then that's good. So next we have Capricorn. Huh.
I have the Six of Swords.
Okay. Well, Capricorn, um, the struggle is real. Maybe you're trying to move away from something you've been struggling with. You feel burdened by having to take care of everyone, or everything. And so I feel like with the boat and the Six of Swords, maybe moving away from that, putting it to rest, doing some sort of change, and what you said earlier, like following your heart, what is your heart telling you what to do?
Maybe a
Look
trip
how ironic.
to a body of water somewhere.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. The lady is under a full moon.
Yeah,
Definitely not to Antarctica or wherever this place is, or North Pole.
I like the vibe from this depiction of this card. It's more ethereal than some decks. Some decks make it seem so Grim Reaper like.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Or
this,
like, "Where are you going?"
yeah, this has a nice feel to it. Like it's more ethereal
Yeah, kind of like a secret passage. Um,
and following, your intuition.
mhm. I think this is good. I mean, I can relate to this type of energy, because there is like a lot of stress and burden on my shoulders, and so I'm trying to move away from that and using my intuition on which direction I should go. So I think that this is good. Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
I know. Next we have Aquarius.
A lot going on for Aquarius with the Sun and Mercury making a
Oh,
square to Uranus. That's
I
good.
have the
Oh,
Sister of Lilies.
Two of Cups.
Oh, that's so wonderful. So it's the King of Swords. That's Aquarian energy also, but maybe communicating like your truth, you know?
Inner balance.
Mhm.
That looks like a new moon above them, so maybe some line of communication by the end of the month.
Mhm. Yeah, it could be about working together Um, Making it work. It's another thing that comes to mind.
Those are
Yeah, it's
peace
like
lilies.
yeah, it's like a telepathic communication also that I'm seeing here.
Yeah,
Hmm, that's really pretty.
it's
I
really
like that.
nice feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are calla lilies and lilies.
Yeah,
It's like a mixture of two types of lilies. It's really pretty.
I really like the goblets. They're a
Mm-hmm.
lot of detail on them.
A lot on the mind. I really
Yeah,
feel like this is about communicating how um that the Aquarius would like to work with someone on something or coming together perhaps. But it looks like you're
another,
doing so
yeah,
with
another
spirit.
good feeling energy there.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a lot of good feels, good vibes.
Yeah, it's good. So last but not least is Pisces. Oh man. Pisces. I have the rat.
Oh, I have the fool.
The fool. Hmm. Don't be a fool for a rat.
Right. That's the most literal meaning anyway. And this is also like the court jester.
Mm-hmm. Being the clown.
So wasn't the court jester a symbolism of irony because where they would come off like they were the entertainers and clowns, they really had like the ear of the king and were like confidants of the royal court.
Yeah, kind of like the having a mask, if you will, like literally,
Yeah,
one a mask act. Something must be bothering Pisces though. Maybe you're hiding behind the veil. Um,
that one rat's pretty fat.
mm, yeah, he's hanging on by a thread though.
Yeah,
But that veil's about to break, maybe he's seen enough. Like taste and see, right? Taste and see. um, let's see, what is that? I can't see. Yeah, there's more rats back there
yeah,
on the top of the kettle, and there's one looking straight here.
and the
There's
table.
actually a lot more than I thought in this card. One's hanging around.
Well, didn't they survive the ice age? I mean, that's one of those rodents that you just can't kill. And this
So
guy is like juggling the zodiac signs, so I feel like
yeah,
he
well,
is.
the rats also is like a form of gossip or someone that you can't trust. It could mean something that's been bothering you. Maybe I really feel like Pisces, you could be playing off that you're good, but you're really not. Like, putting up a mask. Um, yeah. But try not to indulge into this eating. It looks like it's healthy food, but I don't know.
This also reminds me of Mardi Gras, which is coming up.
Mm, Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, so that's like a festival of sorts, or
Mm-hmm. Like there's a new
Maybe something
beginning
will
here.
be going on for Pisces around, I think Mardi Gras is like March 2nd.
Yeah, it's the first of the
And we
month around
have,
there.
let's see, the sun going into Pisces the 18th. We have Venus going retrograde in Pisces March 1st. So we have Saturn and Neptune still in Pisces. So a lot of, Pisces is also about empathy. So, I guess as we're trying to survive all these shifts and changes, like remembering to have empathy for each other.
You know what I saw today? My brother, he made a bouquet of sugar roses. Like
Oh,
he's creative. Yeah, he got like that candy, the sugar candy that look like ribbons,
yeah.
and he twirled one into like a rosebud, and then he got a green like ribbon thing and swirled it around and made it into like a leaf and put it
Oh,
on a stick. And I thought it was very creative. Obviously, my brother and I were coming from a creative background, but whatever. But um, he mentioned on his tagline, he says, "My wife doesn't like flowers, so I made her these." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And my brother, he's very romantic in a way. Like he knows how to massage
charm.
the yeah, charm. Thank you. Charm, put on his charm. But I know she is probably not taking she's a Leo, by the way. And so that might be like something nice for her. I don't know, but she didn't comment on.
Interesting combination, Pisces and Leo. I know a long time married couple that was that combination. Their early lives were very, very difficult, but
Hmm,
they ultimately, you know,
made it work.
they did.
Hmm.
And how is his wife anyway? Didn't she have some
I
health
think she's
problems?
okay. I haven't heard from her, but the last time I seen her was on my birthday, and she was talking, and um yeah, she seems to be okay for now, but I asked her, I said, "Are you okay?" She says, "Yeah, I'm better, but, I'm still not 100." So, I think there is a little bit of stubbornness in her not to, like, feel vulnerable in a
Or it's
sense.
pride. If she's a
Yeah,
Leo,
yeah.
pride.
Yeah, there's the word, pride. So I think there's a little pride, and I can tell that she's very, articulate, and she can speak well, like, so, there's no stuttering, no, visual, signs of her, like, struggling, but I feel that she still is on the inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
But,
certainly
yeah.
that's very scary. And did she experience any kind of weakness in her body on either side, or
Well, at the time, it was on that one side. Um, but now I don't know. And I don't think that she's like in a position to be working out because that's what onsetted her to have the stroke. She was working out. And I think she was working out as hard as my brother. And obviously, my brother can lift a lot more.
wow,
But, she was just doing it because she was just tired of, being overweight and plus the other person was not. And so she wanted to do, like a husband wife thing but
right?
it was just too much. And plus the stress also probably contributed to some of that. But they were supposed to go to San Antonio for like a little getaway, like a romantic little getaway, but she had the stroke that day that they were supposed to leave. And so, but now I don't know. So they're living a little bit further out in the country. So they're not living where they used to live. Her mother is here now, and they've all moved in together in a house, so that there's extra help, with
Right.
the babysitting of her children and stuff. And I haven't heard much from my brother, also, but I saw that. At least he's trying. I
Right.
have to give it to my brother. Like, I mean, he knows how to turn a frown upside down. At least try to, but if once you lose the trust, it's hard to, like, even though the charms, that he's a really good charmer,
Right.
um, it's gonna take a lot for her to, feel like he's being sincere, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
Or rebuild the trust.
yeah, yeah. So, but at least he's trying, and that's what matters. And so, I commended his effort on that. It was cute. Like, I've never seen a candy bouquet like that. So it was creative.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, so does anyone have questions for Sunny for today? This Valentine's, you have burning love question.
I think there's a lot of people out on the town for Valentine's Day. It's been kind of
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah. I read something very interesting from one of my gurus, and he said, Valentine's is not just about couples, it's about, like, learning, just loving, because everyone loves. And so, try not to make it out that it's all about being in a relationship, with a special someone, because we all have a special relationship with, like, other types of things, like, people, a relationship with self, and things
Right?
like that. So I
So
thought it was
Alicia
nice.
wants an update with her twin. So I'm going to pull a lover's tarot for that.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Or anything for my life. Feels like I'm going through a lot. Alicia, what is your you want to share your sun sign and your moon sign and all that good stuff if you know what it is? That kind of help.
So Alicia's twin. What are we gonna
So I'll just
impart?
Oh, she's a Leo.
Okay, so I get the star, which is an Aquarian energy, the opposite of Leo.
Hmm. And I have here the tower. So this tower isn't like the bad tower that we know in tarot. This is about, like, looking in the future. This is about having structure, um, feeling secure. Now I have here, like, the Six of Swords energy. Um, you could be feeling a little off, like what you had just said, but just know that there is, like, a new beginning here for you to have, like, a new change. So with the star, whatever that you're thinking of, whatever positive thoughts you have, just, like, look at things from, I guess, from a distance, like, just observe, okay? But whatever that you're going through, just know that, um, it will manifest. So, in terms of your twin, I feel like something positive will happen. You just have to wait and see. You have to be patient.
I get with the star as a reminder notice that promises are always fulfilled and to keep an open mind as to how that might happen.
Hmm.
So Aquarius, this is an Aquarius energy, so that's unconventional and
Mm-hmm.
things happening suddenly. But there's a real beautiful harmonic kind of balance to this card, which would mean that it may be unconventional, but that doesn't mean upsetting. It just means not what you expect, maybe.
Yeah, I also see here like the lightness and the darkness. So there's like this balance that needs to happen, you know, before, it's like, looking forward, okay, but just feel balanced first and know that everything will happen and it's like divine time.
And another sign, another confirmation of that is there's 7 stars in this, and that is divine intervention, divine timing.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty much out of your hands, and it would be about having faith to move
Yeah.
forward your very true self. And I'm going to say what I feel. Your twin might not be who you think it is, and it's someone else. Please
Mhm.
don't hate me for saying that, but I think the star energy is a reminder notice that promises are fulfilled, and Aquarian energy is about things might not always be as we expect.
Yeah, just be open. And then I'm pulling a secondary card for your other question. And you said, or anything for your life right now. It feels like you're going through a lot. Well, this is the sun card, and so like there
Oh,
is
it's
like,
Leo. Yeah.
yeah, a beautiful new beginning here, that is set course for you. So, um, yeah, there is like a new beginning when it comes to work. It should feel stable. So if you feel like you're not feeling stable, then I would just like wait now.
And look, I got the High Priestess. So this is about using your intuition. This is a
You know.
beautiful combination, the Sun and the High Priestess.
Mhm. Do you see the sundial? I
Yeah,
don't know if you see that. There's a shadow and it's falling on the number 6.
yeah.
So whatever the 6 is, okay, just take note of that because that might mean something because it just,
6th month.
yeah, it could be June, could be 6 months from
Sun
now.
High Priestess is a beautiful um, combination of fulfillment
Mm,
and um, being, like, what I would say, in the zone.
hmm. Whatever you're feeling right now, it's temporary. Just
Right.
know that. So it's gonna work out. Just don't worry and enjoy your life, your day right now.
So I need to make myself feel positive. So instead of fighting against that struggle, you know, sit with the off feeling first, allow it. You can't push it away, it'll just keep coming back. So just sit with that for a moment.
Mm,
You feel off. Maybe, I don't know if you like to write or paint or soak in a nice tub of Epsom salt, but take ownership of that feeling of I'm disconcerted. I feel off balance, and I think that kind of transforms the energy to make you feel better because you've sat with that energy and you understand it, and it's okay to move into a different vibe, I guess is the word.
yeah, I was actually planning to do a tea ceremony on, uh, like, the mindfulness I was talking about. So, before you go into the mindfulness practice, you will write down, the things like, well, what are your intentions coming into this mindfulness practice? What is it that you want out of it? And if it's like, releasing the struggle, or get like, well, what is the thing inside that is causing you to struggle? Well, by doing the mindfulness practice and using tea as like accessory to help you relieve that is to write it down. Okay, set your intention, and then do your tea like be mindful of like the steam coming off the pot, the water boiling, just like listening, being in the moment, right? Nothing else matters. And then you pour your tea, you smell it, and you sip it. Okay, and then you breathe in, all the good stuff that you want from it. And then, when you sip and you blow out, that's all the negative stuff that is in your body. And then you would repeat the process
I was
several
going to
times.
say it repeats.
Yeah, yeah, because once you slow down and sip, it goes away. Like that thought like goes away, and nothing else matters. And then after finishing your tea, you say thank you. Thank you for the practice. And be thankful for everything that you have, because nothing else really matters at that point. Because it could be something trivial. Like
Or
the
being,
earring coming off.
or being grateful for the adversity,
Hmm.
facing a struggle. That is an
Yeah, be
opportunity.
thankful for understanding the thing why you came to the struggle, but also like acknowledging it and knowing that it's something that you don't have to accept. You can let go of the struggle. It's all like a matter of the mind, right? We were talking about that earlier also. People, they think about one thing, they think that that is their truth. But if you're thinking you're struggling, then you're struggling. But if you release and let go and say, no, you're doing great, you're fantastical, and um try that for a few days. And it might be hard to feel that, but if you set your intention, and your intention is pure, and you're releasing that thought of, like this energy, then it goes away. And then you can resolve it quickly. But you have to be really good at the mindfulness practice. Otherwise, you're gonna sit there and just keep going at it, like spinning your
Needling.
wheels.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it takes practice, That's why I want to make like a tea video on this. I think it's gonna be helpful. It'll be helpful for me too. Sure. Like sometimes I need coaching myself. So
we all
yeah.
do. We're all here to help and support each other through whatever it might be. And you'll find people who might be going through a good thing while you're not, and vice versa. You might be on an upswing and need to help somebody that's not. So, that's about community and humanity. And um, those are the themes for our coming decades, 2 decades with Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah. So all right, Alicia, I hope that was helpful. And let me know how that practice does for you. And I'm pretty sure that you will feel a lot better. So, okay, so I guess that's it for now. If you
So,
guys,
do we want to tentatively look at the 28th? We
mm-hmm.
are coming off, the new moon is late on the 27th in Pisces,
Yeah,
Pisces moon.
I think that works. And then we can all feel how we feel at that point,
We
which
can
might be
reflect.
all over the place. It'll be all right.
It will all be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is as it should be.
Yeah, I keep thinking about that. I like every day I wake up and I'm so thankful for living another day, to be able to breathe, to be able to eat a simple meal, to be appreciated by, people that reach out or communicate, um, just simple things, throughout the day, and just being grateful, for those things, and you know,
My clock says 10:10 as you're saying that.
10:10.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that concludes everything then.
Yeah. I think that almost
It
completes
took me a while to think about it. I was like, 10:10.
Yeah, 10:10. It's
Uh,
a good way to summarize what we're feeling these few days. And the good thing is nothing ever stays the same. So we'll see what the spring brings. I think it should be pretty exciting.
Hmm. There's a final message that I think I see here, Alicia wrote, and it says, "Thank you, it was. Just a quick question about when you said my twin isn't who I think. Why do I feel that? So do you feel that your twin isn't your twin?
Well, so
Why
when you
do
said that,
she feel
is
that?
think I really feel that.
I
Well,
can I can say something. Okay, so I have several like guys in my life, right? I believe that whoever my twin was, I feel that he was just a replica of the other guy that I was dating, so to speak. And I really feel like my real twin is the guy that I've met early in my life, who constantly comes in and out of my life and marries other women. That's who I feel. The guy that I've come to know, who I thought is my twin, um, which maybe he's a twin. I really feel like the labels don't really mean much at this point, but it's the lessons that you've learned from those people, for you to evolve and find the thing that you truly want and desire in your life. And I'm thankful for those twin flame, we call it twin flame connections, because if I didn't work on myself and honor myself, then I wouldn't have found like a person who is everything to me. He is exactly everything that I ever wanted. And I'm so thankful. And I truly feel that if I didn't go through that, then maybe I wouldn't have met this one, you know?
I think there's more than one, is why I said that. I think
Mm,
we get
mm.
pretty fixated on one ideal, and I think that's what the Aquarius energy tries to rebel against is,
There's
unconventional.
two.
Yeah, is there's multiple soulmates. You know, it's a romanticism with the twin flame split apart mythology and folklore, and different cultures have different versions of the same story. But I think it ultimately is about the self, seeing the true self and loving the self. Um, I don't know what it is about human nature that we feel like we have to have something outside of ourselves to feel complete, but that is the illusion.
Well, I think that if you find someone like that, that person's meant to show you some deep, profound, spiritual knowingness within yourself, and you have to be thankful for that person. Um, yeah, there's no connection like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you'll have several.
Well, time will write that story.
Hmm.
The question is, are you feeling your desire of companionship is being fulfilled? And what I think is so sad about the ideology of one twin is it can be torturous when the person is not on the same page at the same time.
Hmm.
And life's too short to feel tortured.
Yeah, because you could be waiting for that person to be on the same level for
And
your whole
those
life.
connections that you're talking about ultimately represent that connection you have with yourself, with your
Mhm.
soul. So I think that's one of the illusions to think that we can never feel the same way about a different person. It's just energy. I feel like energy has to run its course until we sort of journey to the root of what that connection is all about. We will have those feelings, you know. And then time has an amazing wisdom to it that you can reflect back. You know, I can look back to when I met my ex husband in the 80s and how I just knew he was my soulmate and that we would be together till the end of time. But people mature differently, they change. And if you don't change in the same direction, then it's only logical that you would grow apart. And if you grow apart, then you have choices. You know, do you try to keep pushing square pegs into round holes for the sake of a ideal? You know, do you? I always went by that romantic theory of if you really love someone, you set them free because that is ultimately a testimony to true love is to give them their freedom. And so, yeah, you know, people are ever evolving and changing. And I just think it's important that you, in whatever relationship you're in, feel honored and respected and that it's fulfilling to you because life is very short.
Mhm.
It's shorter all the time.
That's why I've decided to just move on from who I thought was my twin, and because of that, I found someone so much better, like, a lot better than I thought it would ever be, so, um, I can vouch for that, you know? You don't have to stick around for that one person who you thought was gonna be, like,
Who
a
sticks with someone
thing.
else that may or may not be a healthy relationship, and you know,
No,
we
because
can have this.
clearly he was, alcoholic. He was a functional alcoholic, and I was just making it like, "Oh, well, I know he'll, like, get better and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah," or
Almost
he'll,
think we
like
can fix it,
yeah,
and
yeah, or he'll be with the karmic, and the karmic will fix him, and then he'll come back, right? Yeah, right? Wishful thinking. But, like, at that point, do you want that person back?
I think it's about gratitude for all of these experiences and whatever they offered in our life experience. That you grow wiser and um, you just know yourself really well and what you need or don't need, and that's
Mhm.
important. And I don't know how your age at all, Alicia. I have no idea, but I do believe in you know giving yourself lots of opportunities to love and not getting too fixated on
One
anything
person.
because ultimately we come into this life alone and we leave alone, and what
Mhm.
happens between those 2 points hopefully is gratifying and fulfilling. And my old astrology teacher, she was like a mother to me, and I met her when I was 17. Um, she knew me as I was dating my ex-husband and ultimately married and got divorced. And so when I was divorced and like in my 30s, um, and I wanted so badly to do it again. I wanted to prove that I could do a marriage the right way, that I had picked the wrong person, that I knew how to have a commitment, and and have a good relationship. And her advice to me, and I love this, she was like, if you're looking for a commitment in your life, like marriage, like a commitment, you give them 6 months. And if they've not committed to you in 6 months, you need to move on, because you know from human nature in 6 months if that person has that intention for you or not. And that can be brutal. I mean, that can be really excruciatingly difficult. But I always remember that because I'm really old now and I really don't have a lot of time to waste. But I know that that would be something I would be looking at with
I
any
think it has some
confidence.
truth because if you think about astrology, we go through our cycles, right?
Yeah,
And so, like in the whole year, you know all the basics, right? Like all the
right.
different like seasons and all the
The
lunar,
aspects.
eclipses and all this and that. So you
Yeah.
know like when to anticipate certain things, kind of. So I think that she's right. Like 6 months is good enough,
And
and
then,
everything has a season and
here's
and
the
a
key though.
reason.
You know, if marriage and commitment is not your goal, then I mean, there's plenty of people that infinitely, date or live together without a commitment, and they're perfectly
Mhm.
fine. So that's not like a hard fixed rule of any sort. She just knew me, and that I would only be interested in a getting married
Long
again.
term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a commitment,
Mhm.
a monogamous relationship. I'm not interested in dating around or multiple partners. And so, keeping that in mind, that not everybody has the same desire, you know.
Yeah, but Alicia, she's also a Leo, so she's kind of fixed on her man.
Leo can be
Um,
very prideful and hard headed.
mhm.
And it's probably one of the hardest lessons to learn is to swallow some pride and learn humility. Because let's
Mhm.
face it, it's humiliating when you're crazy about somebody and they're not returning it. That's not a great feeling. But
Mhm. Mhm.
but I think it's an important lesson for everybody to learn.
Yeah, and sometimes it's easier said than done too, because,
Yes.
just like she said that she can't see anybody else. Like, she feels very strongly for this one, and that's her truth. And you can't tell her no. You know, um, so I think it's really on the individual level as to like how they choose to navigate their direction on how they want to handle the situation. So I really feel that a lot of it, we can kind of control our own destiny in a way. Obviously, we can't control other people, but you can control yourself for sure. So the more you know, the more you can like remedy yourself from pain and suffering, I guess. Yeah,
And just
that's it.
whatever feelings you come up, to sit with them and allow them, and that's how they transmute. When we're constantly trying to push away a difficult thought or difficult thing, it's just going to keep coming back. So we have to sit with exactly how we feel in the moment. I think you mentioned that the mindfulness with tea is we're in the moment, just with our breath, and to not fear any kind of uncomfortable feeling.
Mhm. Face your fears with that. Like, what are you fearful of? Sometimes I wish I could forget him sometimes because, yes, it hurts, and I think that all comes with time.
It
Yeah.
does. It's amazing how the human body has a way of having us forget the pain.
Mhm.
I mean, I know when I divorced and it all ended, I stayed in my bathrobe for 2 months, and there wasn't a dry tear. There were tears every day. I was just devastated. And yes, that was a long time ago, but I can honestly sit here right now. I can't remember that pain. I know it was painful, but you know, the human heart has a miraculous way of healing itself. You know, you can remember something was painful, but you don't remember the pain itself. And that's a
Mhm.
blessing, you know.
And a year that he disappeared.
So when a guy ghosts or disappears, at my age, at this point, to me, that is your answer. And that is the answer. So
Yeah, until they come back and then they want more. No. I'm just
the meditation of cutting karmic cords, I think, can help with healing. Um, but not until you really decide that you're done, will
Mhm.
anything heal that feeling. I mean, we all like to sit with our romanticized ideas and feelings and dreams and fantasies. And I remember thinking one time about how nice it is to not have a crush or a feeling for any guy. You know, what a peaceful place that is to be, because when you do meet someone and they spark your interest, or you find yourself thinking about them a lot, that can be so, so monotonous and agonizing. And especially when they're not reciprocating. So I'll tell you a funny story. This came up yesterday with my neighbor and I are going to go see a Queen tribute artist in a couple of weeks, and Queen was gay, right? And so he asked me, he said, "Well, you going to be all right being around a bunch of gay guys?" I said, "I love gay guys. I've had the best friends have been my gay guys. Gay guys make great girlfriends." And he was laughing. And so and I was like, "Yeah, they can always monitor the guys, you know, like they can let you know if some guy's gay or not." And we were laughing about that. And I had dated this guy, and I was in college and worked at a bar as a bartender, and he worked there, and that's how we met. And we just hit it off so well. We would have the best dates. We'd go horseback riding and, you know, out in nature, and just we'd just have the most fun together working, and we'd go, you know, do these different adventures, and we'd fall into bed and he'd fall asleep, and nothing would ever happen physically. And this guy was he was really hot. And I would get so frustrated because then he'd turn around, be very nice to me, and we'd, you know, work. He never acted like, I don't know. I just figured he drank too much and he fell asleep. So a couple of years after I had quit that job and I hadn't seen him, my best friend in college was this gay guy named Johnny. And Johnny knocked at my apartment door and said he had had a fight with Paul. And would I come with him to this gay bar? And I was like, "I don't know, Johnny. I've never been into a gay bar. I don't know." He says, "Oh, come on and go with me. I won't leave you alone." So I went, and I walked in a door, and this girl first hissed at me. And then I looked up at the dance floor, and this guy I had dated had his tongue in another man's mouth. And I was like, "Well, how about that? That must have been that must have been the issue." And I, you know, it was like bittersweet in that I wanted to hold on to maybe kind of the fantasy that that was, you know, a special guy in my life, and maybe I'd see him again. And then this happened, you know, and the universe slapped it right in my face that he's gay. So, you know, we were sitting at a table, and this guy, he comes over and he's real giddy, and he goes, well, I would dance with you, but my boyfriend would get jealous and just walk away giggling. And it was the weirdest night. It was the weirdest night being there because my friend, who had been living with this man in a serious relationship for like 5 years, was snuggling up with this other guy. And it was just like this cosmic culture of time of just sitting around observing all these things and making that revelation that the guy I dated was gay. And so I guess my point is that people come into our life for a reason and enjoy whatever that is. If he made you feel a connection like you've never felt, be grateful for that, and
Mhm.
um, you know, I don't know. Now, when I look back at some of the situations that I was in romantically that were so painful, and now, I mean, I remember them and we can laugh about it. I mean, now I laugh about that. But
Mhm.
I know at the time it was pretty heartbreaking. But,
Mhm.
a Buddhist monk once told me it's not your heart is broken, your heart is opening. And
Mhm.
that's part of the journey, right? That's part of life and experience. And probably the guys that ghost or disappear are the ones who don't have an open heart. They're struggling to find themselves and to be the best version of themselves. And honestly, I look at guys like that thinking they're doing you a favor, because if they can't show up and be a gentleman and participate in a mutually respectful relationship, then there's there's better ways to spend your time. Yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing that.
you never know what crazy stories might come up.
Mhm. I know everyone is really on their own timeline and stuff, and
Yes,
so I know that the things that we may say might be difficult for some to hear, and also like the whole twin flame thing. I mean, I really feel like it's on an individual basis. There is no cookie cutter way of navigating that type of energy with a particular person. But my takeaway for twin flame connection is that they're there to teach you something very profound, whoever that you think is the twin. And if you guys are not in alignment to have like a harmonious union, then you have to accept that. But I really feel that, like, and I said this before, if your twin is not open to be with you in the way, in your timeline, then a soulmate will pop out, and there might be a lot better than the twin. And so it might be a blessing, that the the twin, decided to take a little hiatus, because if it wasn't for that, then maybe you wouldn't have learned about your self-worth, or just any kind of personal things that you have going on with yourself. You also mentioned that, you're struggling a little bit. So maybe this is time to really focus more on yourself rather than the other person, because if that person really cares about you, he would be in your life right now and talk to you, you know.
and you said you were a Leo. Leos love the brutal truth. So you've got this. You can handle
Mhm.
it, and
Mhm.
it will all be okay. And
Yeah.
there'll be a day when you look back at it and smile. And
Yeah, it'll be all right. That's why I'm here.
all right, then. Well, happy Hearts Day. And I think all in all, it's been a good feeling full moon and going into a Pisces new moon in a couple of weeks with some other changes with the sun transiting into Pisces. And I think Mars is going direct the 23rd. So we're going to have, when we meet up towards the end of the month, we're going to have a very different feeling, I think.
Mhm. Mhm. So we'll just like sit on this thought, do our mindfulness meditations and then
The
come back
tea
to
ritual.
it.
Do the tea ritual.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll see if I can put that out maybe in the next week or so when I have time.
I
So,
think that's a great idea.
mhm. I've been meaning to put out another like meditation type video.
Yeah,
It's been a while, so
I
yeah.
think that would
Okay.
be perfect.
Yeah. So,
All right, then,
okay.
ladies, I'm going to exit and go let my little warrior beasts out, stretch their legs.
Yeah. I have to go get dinner.
All right, then. Well, I will talk to you soon, and I thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you. And if you guys want to book a reading with Sunny, head on out to linemountainhealing.com. So, all
Happy to help.
right. All
Thank
right.
you. See you
Thank
later.
you.
All right,
Okay. All right.
bye.
Okay. Bye bye.